of games. Falling last Tuesday night, the 17th-ranked Michigan 80-59, but rallying to beat Northwestern on Saturday 65-54. Boilermakers now 12-5 overall and 3-4 in the Big Ten. Two big home games coming up this week. Tomorrow night, Purdue will host Nebraska in a 7 p.m. tip at Mackey Arena. And then Saturday, Minnesota comes in, and that game will tip off at 2 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. From walk-ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, it is the Katie Gearlds Show. We'll talk Boilermaker basketball with the head coach until the top of the hour. You can follow along tonight. We're on Facebook tonight on the Purdue Athletics site. So you let us know where you're watching from and if you have a question or comment for the coach. A little bit later on in the program tonight, we'll be talking with one of our freshmen, Inoa Holzer, who joins us from Switzerland, sitting out this season because of injury, but ready to get back on the floor next season. And we'll talk about her recovery and her path here to West Lafayette. But when we come back, we'll have the head coach. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
For this game, someone that will need to step up. Here's Ellis, wide for Layden once more, and Layden gets the first basket of the game, 3 points for the Boilermakers. The only Big Ten program to win a national championship. Ellis, another three. This one goes.
They just couldn't capitalize.
Jayla Smith, Kaylee Walsh giving her quite a bit of space. Kaylee Walsh can't really complain when you give Jayla Smith 5 feet of space to get an open look. And there's a turnover from Caroline Loud. Jayla Smith has 6 points in a matter of 30 seconds as Coach Joe McEwen decides to take a timeout. Terry trying to find some space against Sydney Wood, but great defense. Finds Harden out wide. Laisha Petrie tries to drive in against Kayla Rainey, and she gets her first basket. Great spin move for what the statistics say. Miss one, make one. Gets a point for the Wildcats. Quickly done by Purdue, and Abby Ellis gets the end one. Northwestern 14 points unanswered. Janae Terry had an open look, decides to cut in, trying to go against Rainey, and gets Purdue's first basket. But Jill Brown airballs her three. And here is Purdue on that transition. Abby Ellis gets her three. Terry swung for Ellis. Ellis has found the secret to making these threes. She gets back-to-back. Seesaw of action between two teams just trying to get a win as Purdue goes on the fast break. Abby Ellis has an opportunity for an easy layup. Ball swung around from Purdue. They're looking to Harper again underneath. Harper gets the better of Shaw to find 2 points. Back underneath for Ellis. Kicks out. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Layden lets one go. And Madison Layden able to get that one gone.
Her ability to find the open person, it's just pretty remarkable. And
Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at walk-ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Purdue Global is Purdue's accredited and affordable online solution for working adults. Persistence pays off at Purdue Global. We are joined by the head coach. Katie, let's talk about this last week. You knew that last Tuesday night was going to be a challenge. Michigan coming in for their only matchup this year against the Boilermakers, a team that lost Naz Hillman from a year ago, probably more balanced than they were last year, and a team that still has an awful lot of talent.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week. They just take the personality of KBA and they play super hard. They play pretty much the exact same way that they did last year, just without Naz out there, obviously. Thought we competed really hard for the entire game. First half, I thought we were really good, knocked down shots. Second half, they just pounded the ball inside, and we didn't do a good enough job on the glass.
Yeah, it was a night that I thought your effort and really your fight in the first half was outstanding. You got down early, got it back to a point at the half, but they came out and hit you early in the second half. And again, it was a big rebounding edge. They had a 33-20 edge on the glass, and just like the game before against Penn State, the offensive rebounds really hurt you in that one.
Yeah, we started down 13-2, battle back, and then start the second half. They get offensive rebound, put back, offensive rebound, put back. Leah Brown walks into a three because we don't match her. Offensive rebound, kick out three. 10 points, all pretty much controllable on our end, but we did not control it.
Then you bounce back on Saturday. Nice win against the before we get back to that game, by the way, it was good to see Madison Layden step up. You know, Madison had been struggling a little bit from the field, but she scored 16 points and looked like the Madison of old, I thought, against the Wolverines.
Yeah, I would say, you know, obviously it's good to have her back, but I think she's just starting to feel a little bit more comfortable out there again and playing with a lot of confidence. Got a little bit of swag to her. Walked by her. She walks a little bit different. Her shoulders are back a little bit differently right now, and you know, down the stretch in the Northwestern game, I thought she just rebounded the heck out of the ball. It was like, you know, you weren't taking it from me, and I thought that was big for our ball club.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the rebounding because you went from a 33-20 deficit against Michigan to a 40-30 advantage against the Wildcats. Did a good job keeping them off the glass. I think they had 4 offensive rebounds for the game, but you got some second chance opportunities.
Yeah, I thought, you know, I think Janae had 6 offensive rebounds. Ricky did a really good job of getting in there and battling, getting some hands on some balls. You know, we just obviously the rebounding is always a focus for us. Maybe it was just the Northwestern gym. It wasn't really loud or crowded. I think you could probably hear the entire bench yell "box" every single time there was a shot taken. Our poor practice guys, we've got a bubble on the rim. I don't think they've made a shot for 2 weeks. Just so we're trying to work on finishing plays. And I'll tell you one thing about the Michigan game. We obviously we don't win and we lose by 21. But if we had that kind of effort, that kind of intensity, that kind of toughness, I don't think what happened at Penn State happens. And kind of the message we're sending to our ball club.
You know, I thought it was an interesting game on Saturday because you got off to a great start. You started out, you forced a lot of turnovers early. You got up 13. It looked like it was going to be one of those days. And then all of a sudden, they started hitting three-point shots. A team that was not a great three-point shooting team, they hit 4 of them in the second quarter in one stretch and got right back into the game at halftime.
Yeah, I think, let's see, Walsh hits one. We lose her in transition. She gets confidence and hits another one. Then off of a turnover, their point guard hits another one. So it was like a 9-point run, 9-point swing there really quickly at the end of the second quarter. We let them back in the ball game, but you know, it could have gone the other way after losing a couple tough ones. You know, our group stayed together, battled back, had some people step up that really hadn't had the opportunity, and I thought Jayla was great. Obviously, it was good to see Abby scored a basketball again. You know, and I thought Ricky was just really, really good for Caitlin in that game.
Yeah, and sometimes statistics don't tell the whole story. I thought Ricky Waltman's effort to keep balls alive, not only the rebound she got herself, but she tipped a few balls out and it reminded me watching the men right now with Zach Edey, where it looks like he's going to get every rebound on the floor. There was a stretch that looked like she was going to grab every rebound in that game.
Yeah, she's we've tried to make a conscious effort of trying to get her to, even if she can't get it, go get a hand on it, tip it out, maybe somebody can chase it down. And I thought, you know, her effort just crashing the offensive glass was super, super huge for our ball club. And then down the stretch, she was her ability to get out and match Walsh on the perimeter, something that Ricky's not great. You know, she plays inside, and to get out there and match Walsh on the perimeter and chase down rebounds was huge for our ball club. And
winning a game at Northwestern makes that bus ride through Chicago a whole lot better. That can be a really, really longer drive coming home after a loss.
You ain't telling me, man. We got stuck in traffic. I think Coach Paint, he sends me a text and he says roadkill, and I said, yeah, thank God, because this bus trip would have been terrible on the way home. But proud of our ball club.
All right, we're talking with the head coach. We'll have more of the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Last weekend. Now here is Harper from the top of the key as she drills a triple right on cue. Here she is D'ing up Leah Brown. And Petrie comes away with the loose ball. Back-to-back threes. Layden knocks it down. Petrie splits the defense, rolls it off the window. Back the other way comes Ellis. Step through, left hand is good.
Avoid the block, then Abby Ellis comes down. Watch a little stop, Hezzy. I mean, blue jersey just go flying and boom.
Good pickup. Janae Terry steals the backdoor pass. And then goes coast to coast.
Her hand on the ball and then comes down with the finish. The fake gets Wiggins up in the air.
1.5 points per game. Another three. Layden this time knocks it down, and that is her second of the first half.
known as a lethal shooter from 3. Paint touches lead to open shots. Madison and Layden.
Extra pass to Harden. Corner 3.
Unselfish plays.
Extra pass to Layden. That's her 3rd 3. And you're on the money tonight with these phrases and sayings.
You know, gotta make it interesting.
Harper ends a 3.5-minute drought without a field goal for the Boilermakers. Can she get going in this 4th? Terry beats the shot clock. Great take on the baseline.
Bob FM.
Lafayette Limo, family-owned, women-owned, serving Greater Lafayette for over 33 years. Shuttles to and from Indianapolis and O'Hare airports 365 days a year. Make your reservations now at LafayetteLimo.com. Lafayette Limo, proud sponsor of Purdue Athletics. You know, it's great to see some familiar faces up in Chicago. I saw Danielle Campbell and her dad walking in before the game, and Danielle back in Chicago now, originally went to Whitney Young High School, teammate of yours for a couple of seasons. Looks like she could still play today.
I bet she could still send me some screens.
There you go. And then Shannon Lindsay and Cindy Lamping from Purdue's first Final Four team back in the early 90s. They both work and live up in Chicago. It was great to see them, and always nice to see familiar faces. And I want to give a big shout out to the Boilermaker Network, who brought a fan bus up to the game. Thanks to Sheila from Remington, who reminded me of that. You always know that you're going to have a support when you go to Welsh Ryan Arena.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't see the Danielle and Shannon and Cindy until after the game, but it was really nice to see them there. And then when I walked out, I was like, man, this is like a home game almost, and wasn't expecting it. It was really, really awesome. I thought they were big for us in the 3rd quarter when Northwestern had taken the lead, and I think Abby hits a 3 in transition. They just kind of gave us some juice there.
Also, you've got some alums coming in. It's a big alumni weekend, so you got some former players coming in for your game against Minnesota. It's always a fun time to see them back on campus.
Yeah, excited to get them all back. I was talking to those 3 up in Chicago, and I want to really start to do a better job of engaging those guys and getting them back here. And hopefully this spring I can sit down and really not just text message or emails, but really some handwritten letters to really start to engage them. This is a special place, and need them all to get back here. Excited for Saturday to see them all. I think the day is set up to be a really, really fun day. Obviously, it would be an even better day with a Purdue win and a Chiefs win, but it'll be good to see those guys.
I'll agree with half of that at least. By the way, on Facebook tonight, we've got John from Pennsylvania. Peggy is watching from St. Louis. Ira from Wisconsin. John does have a question, and I think this has been kind of a hit and miss thing this season. One of the weaknesses at times this season has been turnovers. They have prevented some wins and kept other games closer. What can you do in the middle of the season to cut down in the turnovers?
I think we spend a lot of time on us right now in terms of offensive execution. Running through sets, trying to get the right looks. I think now that we're in Big Ten play, we're pretty familiar with how teams are going to guard, so we try to put our kids in the right situation so they can be successful. And then a lot of film watching, right? We're not on the court too much this time of the year, maybe an hour and a half, but a lot of film watching. Our group comes up and meets with Michael and Alex and Beth one-on-one. Maybe our posts come up and meet with Alex, or and just a lot of attention to detail, trying to get them to understand what we're looking for. But at times it's been really, really bad. I think here of lately it hasn't been as bad, and obviously this week against Nebraska and Minnesota, it's got to be really good.
And I think that the frustrating thing sometimes with turnovers is you can't categorize them all in one area. I mean, you can have 3 turnovers a game that are on moving screens, and sometimes you're in the lane for 3 seconds because you're anticipating a shot. It seems like there hasn't been a common thread this season to the turnovers.
Yeah, the one thing we talk about is, obviously we want to play a little bit up tempo, and we're by nature we're going to turn the ball over sometimes. But the one thing the live ball turnovers, right? And I think that's what gave us a chance at Michigan State. We didn't have a lot of live ball turnovers. We turned it over 30 times, but a lot of those were dead ball turnovers where we could set our defense. And I think we had a few down the stretch that allowed Michigan State to get back in the ball game. So if we can limit live ball turnovers, Obviously, we want to get chances to score the basketball. I think we're still in the top, 20 in field goal percentage in the country. So, like our chances when we do get good shots up. And our group is, they're locked in and focused. We understand that that's a problem of ours and something we've got to focus on. Same on keeping teams off the offensive glass.
You have done a good job, though, sharing the basketball this year, still ranked in the top 25 nationally as a team in assists per game.
Yeah, obviously, Janae does a really good job of setting her teammates up. But, obviously, like any good ball club, you're at your best when the ball is moving, the ball is popping, and you play on multiple sides of the floor. And, even we've told Janae, like, the ball can stick in her hands a little bit, and we can get stagnant watching her trying to bank a play. Just trust that when you give the ball up, whether you get the hockey assist doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but it's probably the most important play in a game of basketball. And so trying to get her to buy into that, and then understanding, too, the ball's going to probably get back in your hands. We've got a lot of selfless ball players on our team, and down the stretch here, the last, going into January, February, the grind of the Big Ten, we got to be really special.
And just for those of you who are not hockey aficionados, the hockey assist is the player who passes the ball to the player who gets the assist. Yeah. So in hockey, you can have 2 assists. In basketball, you only get 1 assist.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things more beautiful than that kind of play.
I'm with you. All right, we'll have the coach back in just a couple of minutes. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
The foul against Joey Hauser. There's a foul on Michigan State as we went to the timeout. Purdue has it, and there is Fletcher Lawyer to can a 3.
That he can do. That dribble, hey, blew it up. Nice play.
So now they have to scramble it to Morton with 4. Inside, Edey listened to the crowd and scored.
How about that fine?
He ends up with the ball back. Sissoko couldn't clear it. Morton rummaging down the lane. Edey the follow. It was off the cylinder.
Well, they've had a few of those mistakes. Got to stop dribble drive if you're Purdue. Another good look there. Goodness,
between the legs.
What's he going to do?
Lawyer wants 3. He's got it.
How tough is that? And when Gillis is in, terrific offensive rebound. How about this? The poise, the balance, the delivery.
Walker splits 2. Edey redirects it.
How about that? Whew. That baby hook doesn't work around that guy.
And the length, too. Trailing the play. Smith lobs it for Edey to smack.
On both ends of the floor, that little hesitation, a pause every. Purdue forces you in some tough shots. Same play as earlier. Say goodnight.
Edey, good night.
Goodness. Big time. Pause at the rim.
10 seconds to go. Lawyer, the freshman, into the post. Edey gets to the rim and scores. 2 seconds to go. Purdue by 1.
Just a great look by Lawyer. You got to hug him. Great opening to the passing lane. And Lawyer is a great post passer, too. Of course, the target's formidable. The pass to the correct hand drops.
95.3 Bob FM.
Welcome back to the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. And we're going to talk to the head coach here about the upcoming games. But at first, I want to get a quick plug in or a note in. Earlier this year, in fact, the last coaches show before we went off for a break, we had a guest engineer because Wes was out of town. Gary Klein came in and helped us out, and we found out last Tuesday that Gary lost his 18-month battle with cancer. It was a very emotional day for all of us, and I just wanted to say, give my thoughts and prayers to his family. Gary got Wes started in this business. He's a guy that was a Purdue graduate, traveled the country, worked for Cumulus Broadcasting, and helped radio stations all over the country. And this is a hard profession, Katie, just like the coaching profession. It's hard to make friendships that last a long time because it's so transient. And when you make those friends and when you lose those friends, it's really difficult. So I just want to make sure that we gave Gary a shout out tonight. We're really going to miss him, and we're thankful that we had him in the Purdue family for as long as we did. Let's talk about this basketball team. Caitlin Harper's a player that I had a chance to meet her parents for the first time after the game on Saturday, and they were so grateful for the opportunity that she has here Coming from Heartland, Wisconsin, she goes out to play at Cal Baptist, becomes the WAC Player of the Year, a COSIDA Academic All-American, and she says, I wonder if I can play in the Big Ten. Well, I think Caitlin Harper has shown she can play in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think I've told Caitlin on 2 occasions, if I can coach young women like you for the rest of my career, I don't think I'll ever stop coaching. She is so special. She's all about our team. She does whatever you ask her to do. Super, super hard on herself, takes coaching beautifully, but just wants the team to win, and just a refreshing young woman to be around. Obviously, I don't know if you have her in class or if you'll have her in class. Yep. Obviously, an All-American in that nature, but just someone that we are so proud to have on our ball club.
Well, she's taking a Master of Science in Accounting degree program, in that program here at Purdue, and I can tell you that's not an easy program. And she's challenged on the court, she is challenged in the classroom, but she seems to be coming through both with flying colors.
Yeah, it is just a great teammate. I think they all kind of look at her as the mom of like, hey, she's just always there for you. She's got something positive to say. Her and I have started to talk a little bit more about being, that calming influence on the floor for us, and just someone you can look to and know what you know exactly what you're gonna get, and it's gonna be everything that Caitlin has. It's
such an important thing, and we've talked about this ad nauseum really for the last 2 years. The whole idea of the portal. Yes, you can look and see what they'll add on the court, but you're bringing somebody in from a different program, maybe a different phase in their life. Can they fit in right away? Mm-hmm. And she's been able to do that.
Yeah, she has been, and we knew it right away. And I think that stems from her family, too. When they were on the visit, you could just tell, like, this is a family that just got it. They were going to be all about Purdue. And every time I have a chance to talk to them, I enjoy talking to them. A beautiful, beautiful family. And like I said, we're lucky to have Caitlin.
You've got a lot of players that are logging some minutes right now. I mean, you've got basically a 9-player rotation, which I've always thought 8 or 9 players is about the ideal to make sure. Are you at the point yet in the practice schedule or in the season where you have to cut anything back to try to keep their legs fresh, or how do you manage keeping them in game shape but also making sure you get them to the floor healthy? Yeah,
I think, like I said, about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes on the court. A lot of film watching. Stay a little bit more in the half court right now this time of the year as we were before. We like to get up and down earlier in the preseason or in the non-conference season, but you trust that they're taking care of themselves. If Jayla needs to go do extra cardio, she jumps on the treadmill or the elliptical. If you don't hit 20 minutes, we ask you to get a little bit extra cardio so you are fresh, ready to go. But I think our group is just mature, and I think they put themselves in the right position this time of the year.
All right, one of the players we're anxious to see on the floor next year is going to join us next. Inoa Holzer will check in with us. It is the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Our Boilermakers have always been what unite us. To this hallowed field, we return each fall to be a part of something special. We've seen legends born and moments etched in time.
Wide open! Got it! Touchdown Purdue! Seth Morales! Holy Toledo! Thomas steps away, Coleman fumble! They've got it! Beasley rushes free for the Purdue touchdown!
It's pandemonium, Coach! Open year!
Hope we have a whole lot more. It's a great win for Purdue.
For nearly a century, Ross-Ade Stadium has been the home of Purdue football. As we forge ahead, we have a rare opportunity to fortify the legacy of future generations of faithful Boilermakers. Together, we will guarantee the passion you have for the old gold and black will endure for years to come.
Let the carnage and the chaos continue. How about the Boilermakers?
Boiler up, friends. The time is now.
Good morning, Mr. Babinski.
Oh, Babinski. That's fun to say. Babinski. 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 Purdue basketball. What's your favorite color?
Purdue basketball. Coach Painter speaking.
You're listening to the Katie Gearlds Show on 95.3 Bob FM.
Everyone needs a little playing time, so before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. We are joined by freshman Inoa Holzer, who comes to us from Switzerland, sitting out the season because of an injury, but we'll get to that in a minute. Talk about your journey, Inoa, from Switzerland to the United States, back to Switzerland, back to the U.S. Let's start in Switzerland. What did you play growing up?
Well, I tried pretty much every sport. Like I tried judo, track and field, classical dance, and then I just ended up trying basketball, and I just fell in love with it.
When did you really start playing basketball seriously and thinking that this might be my sport going forward?
Maybe I was 13 years old. Yeah.
So you played in your home country, and then you came to the United States your junior year at Christ the King, which is a famous high school in New York City. Shamika Holtz-Claw, among others, played there. Talk about that season, because I think your team won a championship, right?
No.
No, it came close to.
No, it was the year before.
Year before, okay.
Yeah. Well, I just always known I wanted to play college basketball, so I knew that in order to get a scholarship, I had to come to the United States. So I just chose New York City because my aunt lives in New York City, so it was pretty good. And then COVID hit, so I had to get back home, did all the recruiting stuff during summer, and then finished my high school in Switzerland and came.
So your initial plan was to play your last two seasons, your junior and senior year, go to high school here, play high school here, and try to get recruited. So now you have to go home, and all the recruiting now all of a sudden has to become virtual, right? You can't meet with coaches. How were you able to work through that and decide where to go when you couldn't visit the places and you couldn't see the coaches face to face?
Well, Purdue was like the perfect fit just because it had a good physics program and an amazing basketball program. So.
Yeah, I've been doing this 33 years. I don't think we've had a physics major. I could be wrong, but I don't think we've had a physics major. How did that all come about?
I've always loved stars and like just understanding how the universe works. So, yeah.
Physics, and then your minor is astronomy? So you really do like the stars.
Yes.
What do you do when your playing days are done? What do you do with the physics degree?
Well, I would love to do theoretical research in the future. Hopefully, like get my PhD. But yeah,
that's a long ways down the road. But I'm sure you'll get there because she's an outstanding student, by the way, an excellent student in the classroom. Yeah, I also understand you play the piano. Pretty good jazz pianist.
Yes.
How did that start?
My mom was actually a professional pianist player, so I just like had to try it, and I loved it. And then when basketball became like serious, I just had to quit because it was too much.
Did she have to prod you to take your lessons? Were you a willing student? Did you enjoy playing?
Yes, I did. I played in a group, also like sang, and yeah, I loved it.
If I put a piano in front of you today, could you still play a tune?
Probably not. I just don't remember.
Well, it's just like anything else. You have to practice, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you go back to Switzerland to play your last year, and you're getting ready to come to Purdue, and then your next to last game, you get hurt.
Yes.
What goes through your mind at that point?
Ooh, yeah. It was like the hardest day and time of my life, honestly. But, I mean, it's just part of being an athlete. You get injured sometimes. It was my first big injury. I mean, actually my first injury. So it was very, very hard. But, I mean, it just takes patience.
You tore knee ligaments. Did you know right away how serious it was?
Yes, yeah.
So what is it like to try to rehab? We hear about it all the time, and I think ACL injuries have become so commonplace that we almost treat them like cuts. They're a little bit more complicated. What are the rehab steps? What do you have to do to try to get back to where you were before the injury?
So first you just relearn how to walk without crutches, then run. Then you get cleared to start jumping again, and then just changing directions and all that. But it takes 5 to 6 days a week of rehab.
So where are you? What phase are you in right now? What are you just starting to do?
So I started jumping. I've shooted my first threes 2 days ago. And yeah, then the next step is just trying to like change directions, jump on one foot, and yeah.
All right, we're talking with Inoa Holzer. We'll be back with her in just a couple of minutes. It is the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Before this game, someone that will need to step up. Here's Ellis, wide for Layden once more. And Layden gets the first basket of the game, 3 points for the Boilermakers. The only Big Ten program to win a national championship. Ellis, another three. This one goes.
They just couldn't capitalize.
Jayla Smith, Kaylee Walsh giving her quite a bit of space. Kaylee Walsh can't really complain when you give Jayla Smith 5 feet of space to get an open look. And there's a turnover from Caroline Loud. Jayla Smith has 6 points. In a matter of 30 seconds, as Coach Joe McEwen decides to take a timeout. Terry trying to find some space against Sydney Wood, but great defense. Finds Harden out wide. Laisha Petrie tries to drive in against Kayla Rainey, and she gets her first basket. Great spin move for what the statistics say. Miss one, make one. Gets a point for the Wildcats. Quickly done by Purdue, and Abby Ellis gets the end one. Northwestern 14 points unanswered. Janae Terry had an open look, decides to cut in, trying to go against Rainey, and gets Purdue's first basket. But Jill Brown airballs her three. And here is Purdue on that transition. Abby Ellis gets her three. Terry swung for Ellis. Ellis has found the secret to making these threes. She gets back-to-back. Seesaw of action between two teams just trying to get a win as Purdue goes on the fast break. Abby Ellis has an opportunity for an easy layup. Ball swung around from Purdue. They're looking to Harper again underneath. Harper gets the better of Shaw to find 2 points. Back underneath for Ellis. Kicks out. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Layden lets one go. And Madison Layden able to get that one gone.
Her ability to find the open person, it's just pretty remarkable. And
by Purdue Federal Credit Union. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Time for the Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler-made. Aya Traore playing in Spain on Saturday night. 14 points and 4 rebounds for her team in a 55-47 win. Her team has won 5 straight and is now 10-4 on the season. Sam Ostorello played on Sunday. Her team lost 82-74. She had 5 points and 4 rebounds. Her team now 9-7. Andriana Keys playing for Poland, and actually her team is playing in 2 different leagues at the same time. They're playing a league that is just teams in Poland, and then a team from a league with teams from all around Europe. And the games in Poland, her team lost 88-62 to drop to 6-7. She did have 16 points and 5 rebounds in that one. In the other league, she played Saturday and Sunday, scored a combined 24 points and 2 wins, and that team is 7-0. And it looks like KK Hauser just signed a contract, or she is now in Spain, played her first game there this week, and her team won 79-67. She had 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Her team 6-11 on the season. Talking about playing overseas, I'm sure you would like to play basketball as long as you can. Were you able, when you were in Switzerland, did you ever see any professional women's basketball over there?
Yes, I actually played since I was 15 years old. So I played 1 season as a pro. I didn't get paid, obviously. But then I went to New York City, and then when I came back, I played 2 seasons as a pro.
So you're getting back in your rehab now. You're doing well in your classes. You're acclimating, but you're anxious to get on the floor. What has this year been for you watching and learning? How much have you been able to pick up about basketball in the Big Ten, basketball here in the United States?
Well, it's always good to see like the game from different perspective. I learned a lot. I watched basketball a lot. it's also good to help my teammates when I can, or like just understand how Coach KG want to play, and it will be easier next year when I can play.
You know, we talk all the time about the adjustment of people coming to the United States. You started in the United States in New York City, and now you're in West Lafayette. Now, saying those two are similar is probably not a true statement. How hard has it been to make the adjustment from the big city to coming here in a little bit smaller city in West Lafayette?
I would say college basketball is closer to professional basketball in Europe, even though there are a lot of differences, but it's much more like a pro mindset, much more serious, and also more fun, I would say.
Less restaurants open at 11 o'clock after the game, too, right? And in New York City, you can get anything you want at any time of the day.
Yeah.
All right, walk us through the rest of your. When will you be back, you believe, to full strength in playing basketball and getting ready to play and contribute to this team next year?
Yeah, so, well, with ACL, we never really know, but I expect to start like doing full workouts with the team at the end of the season, so April, May, and then start like doing the summer like workouts and practices, and start next year.
So we mentioned that you've danced, you sing, you play the piano. I understand you. How many languages do you speak?
3, and like, okay, so French,
3 and
Spanish,
a half.
yeah, kind of. English and a little bit of German. So I can write in German, but speak is another thing.
All right, give us one sentence. Tell people in French to come out to the game tomorrow night and support this basketball team.
Venez au match demain et supportez-nous. Donnez tout ce que vous avez.
What she said. 7 o'clock tip-off tomorrow night. Inoa, thanks for coming on tonight. Good luck in the rest of your rehab. All right, we'll have the head coach back. It's the Katie Gearlds Show presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union and the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Last weekend. Now here is Harper from the top of the key as she drills a triple right on cue. Here she is D'ing up Leah Brown. And Petrie comes away with the loose ball. Back-to-back threes. Layden knocks it down. Petrie splits the defense, rolls it off the window. Back the other way comes Ellis. Step through. Left hand is good.
Avoid the block. Then Abby Ellis comes down. Watch a little stop, Hezzy. I mean, blue jersey just go flying and boom.
Good pickup. Janae Terry steals the backdoor pass. And then goes coast to coast.
Her hand on the ball and then comes down with the finish. The fake gets Wiggins up in the air.
1.5 points per game. Another three. Layden this time knocks it down, and that is her second of the first half.
Known as a lethal shooter from 3. Paint touches lead to open shots. Madison and Layden.
Extra pass to Harden. Corner 3.
Unselfish play.
Extra pass to Layden. That's her third 3. You're on the money tonight with these phrases and sayings.
You know, gotta make it interesting.
Harper ends a 3.5-minute drought without a field goal for the Boilermakers. Can she get going in this fourth? Terry beats the shot clock. Great take on the baseline.
Gearlds Show on 95.3 Bob FM.
Everyone needs a little playing time, so before a Purdue basketball game or any time throughout the week, stop by Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Great to talk to Inoa in that last segment. It just reminds us what a melting pot not only our country is, but this university. You sit in any classroom, you sit down in a meeting, and you're talking to people not only from around the country, but around the world, and all the perspectives they bring. I mean, where else do you get that kind of stuff?
Yeah, obviously Purdue's a special place, and that kid over there is a really, really cool kid. And I'll tell you, this young woman knows how to play basketball. She's so fun to talk to on the sideline as we piece together a game plan in practice, or just her perspective is something I greatly respect.
We got a boiler up from Brienne, who I believe might be becoming a Boilermaker here in the near future, so congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
Let's talk basketball, and let's talk tomorrow night. The Nebraska Cornhuskers come into Mackey. They're a team like you that right now is kind of considered to be on the bubble for the NCAA tournament, although we're a long way away from finding that out. They're ranked number 42 this week in the net. Purdue is number 48 as of today. Crucial game, and a Nebraska team that has had its share of injuries but seems to have found its stride. They went to Maryland and won by 23 points, and then they went to Rutgers and missed their first 21 three-point shots. So which team will we see tomorrow night?
Hopefully that Rutgers team. Let's hope that. Obviously a team that relies on the three. They shoot about 26 or 27 a game. I think that's number 1 in the Big Ten. So we got to be able to make sure we're there and contested and not giving them clean looks. They went to Maryland. They spaced them out. Jazz Shelley just had a day. Get into the paint whenever she wanted. Obviously they're big, step out and shoot the ball from the perimeter. I think they lost the first quarter against Ohio State when they played Saturday, I guess it was. But they won the next 3 quarters. They hung with Ohio State. So, hands full. Obviously, any time you're in the Big Ten, your hands are full. So we'll see if our game plan's right on and see what happens.
You mentioned the big shooting the basketball. Alexis Markowski was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and she's a player that can score inside, but she can also pull you out. If you don't guard her out at the three-point line, she's going to kill you out there.
Yeah, and she killed us last year up at their place. I think she hit her first 3, and I think she had over 20 points. We just she kind of had her way with us, and, I think they made 10 threes at their place, and thought we scrambled and just they had us on our heels the entire game, and I think we got injured a couple. I think Mads goes down. JT has a bum ankle. Abby falls on her wrist. Just a big game, big opportunity for us. And one thing we talk about is we got to protect Mackey. We didn't do that last week against Michigan, and we got to make sure we find a way to win our home games here down the stretch.
It's your only game this year against Nebraska. The Boilermakers do not go to Lincoln, but they do have a home-and-home coming up with Minnesota. That starts on Saturday. And now Lindsay Whalen has got a young basketball team. She's decided to kind of try to build that from the ground up. They've got some very talented freshmen, but they're going through some growing pains right now.
Yeah, but man, when those kids are on, they're on. Obviously, Rose inside is really big for them. They're freshman guards who they can just flat out score the ball. They've put up high numbers, and then they've struggled to shoot it at times. And obviously, that's kind of the makeup of our ball club too, right? Like we can score it, and then we'll go dry. And just a big opportunity for us this week to win two games at home. We can't win them both if we don't win tomorrow. But right now, our focus is Nebraska, and then we'll move on to Minnesota after that.
How do great players like Katie Gearlds and Lindsay Whalen deal with struggles of teams shooting the basketball, or just in general? I mean, I've always wondered how great players, when they become coaches, you have to realize that not everybody is going to be able to shoot the ball like you, and not everybody's going to be able to play or think the game like you. Mm-hmm. How do you keep that all in perspective, and how do you keep your calm and understand their limitations?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I think my first year as a coach, not just here, but even at Marion, just learned a lot, just to be patient. And one thing that we always tell our group, and I'm sure Lindsay does the same thing, is like, who cares if you make it or miss it? Just control your effort. And I think that's one thing that we can hang our hat on for the last couple of years, minus the game at Penn State last year. I feel like, or this year, we've done a really good job of just competing, even when the ball doesn't go in, playing hard, being a tough out. And for the most part, I think we've done that. Obviously, the basketball is very humbling. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. But we just tell our group, like, trust your work. Like Cass Harden can go through a slump. Like, Cass, you've been shooting the ball your whole life. Just trust everything you've ever done. Quit thinking about it and just relax and hoop. And, just try to get in the gym with them, give them some confidence, pump them up a little bit. That's all you can do.
All right, final segment of the Katie Gearlds Show, presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, coming up on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
The foul against Joey Holzer. There's a foul on Michigan State if we went to the timeout. Purdue has it, and there is Fletcher Lawyer to can a three.
That he can do. That dribble, hey, blew it up. Nice play.
So now they have to scramble to Morton with 4. Inside, Edie listened to the crowd and scored. How about that find? He ends up with the ball back. Sissoko couldn't clear it. Morton rummaging down the lane. Edie the follow and was off the cylinder.
Well, they've had a few of those mistakes. Got to stop dribble drive if you're Purdue. Not a good look there. Goodness,
between the legs.
What's he going to do?
Lawyer wants 3. He's got it.
How tough is that? And when Gillis is in, terrific offensive rebound. How about this? The poise, the balance, the delivery.
Walker splits 2. Edie redirects it.
How about that? Whew. That baby hook doesn't work around that guy.
And the length, too. Trailing the play. Smith lobs it for Edie the smash.
On both ends of the floor, and a little hesitation to pause every. Purdue forces you in some tough shots. Same play as earlier. Say goodnight.
Edie, good night.
Goodness. Two big time. Pause at the rim.
10 seconds to go. Lawyer, the freshman, into the post. Edie gets to the rim and scores. 2 seconds to go. Purdue by 1.
Just a great look by Lawyer. You got to hug him. Great opening to the passing lane. And Lawyer is a great post passer, too. Of course, the target's formidable. The pass to the correct hand drops.
Gearlds Show on 95.3 Bob FM.
This week's game plan is presented by Purdue Federal Credit Union, home of the official credit union for Purdue fans. Learn more about their products and services at purduefed.com. We've talked a lot about taking care of the basketball and rebounding. I think one thing that's key in these 2 games coming up, getting your crowd into the game. You know that they're going to be ready to cheer you on, giving them a reason to cheer early, and you're really using that home crowd these next 2 games.
Yeah, it'd be nice for us to get out and have a great start tomorrow night and really – help the crowd have some juice for us. Our last home game, we talked about it, 13-2 against Michigan. It's, we've got to start the other way, and I know it's going to be a focus for Nebraska. I think they started the game against Ohio State down 25-12 at their place. So both teams are going to be locked in and focused on that. I think I hope the black and gold come out.
You played in front of 12,000 fans at Iowa earlier this year. Michigan had 10,000 fans for a home game. This team is an exciting team to watch. I think they're fun. They compete. I'd like to see some people out at Mackey Arena both tomorrow night and Saturday afternoon.
I think down there at that other place this past weekend there was over 10,000 too.
Yep.
At that other place down there. So it'd be nice for it to be rocking this week.
Let's make sure we're smiling about 9 o'clock tomorrow night when we talk again.
I love it, Tim.
All right, we'll see you then. The Boilermakers again taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers tomorrow. That will be a 7 o'clock tip. Our broadcast will start at 6:45. Jane Schott joins me for that one. And then Purdue back on the home floor on Saturday, taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. That's a 2 p.m. tip, and we'll have that one starting at 1:45. Our engineer this evening is always Wes Scott. Our producer, Roger Forsyth. We thank Hunter Massengill for the video that he provides on Facebook. Again, the next Katie Gearlds Show, we're on Mondays here from here on in. Then the last 5 shows all coming up on Monday night. For Inoa Holzer and for the head coach, this is Tim Newton. We'll see you tomorrow night at Mackey Arena when the Boilermakers take on Nebraska. Good night, everybody.